So in this video, I'm going to have a go at fitting this solar panel to the roof of our van. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yep, in this video what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be fitting a solar panel to the roof of Helsing. But before I can contemplate making a start on that, first thing I need to do is I need to give the roof a good clean. So I'm going to grab some panel wipes and give it a good going over, make sure that it's clean, free of rubbish, and then we can think about getting a solar panel on here. So before we crack on with things, I'll just quickly show you the state of things with the roof as it stands. So it's been parked on the drive and it's parked at a slight angle, so you can see at the front there where all the dirt and grimes sort of pulled with the running water from all the rain that we've had of late. But all I want to do is, like I said, I just want to give it a quick clean with a panel wipe and make sure that it's all free of debris, grime and muck. So when the time comes to actually bond the solar panel to the roof, it'll have a nice clean surface to adhere to. Right, so let's talk solar. And do you go rigid or do you go flexible? Now, having done our research, there was only one winner for us, and that was a rigid panel. And this is the bad boy that we decided to go with. It's a 270 watt monocrystalline panel from a company called Perlight, who we purchased from Bimble Solar online. And the reason that we went with this particular panel was when you compare it to panels of the same wattage, it's so much smaller. It's quite a lot, the actual size of it is quite a lot smaller than a regular one. And of course, you're sticking it on a roof, space is of a premium, so it was a no-brainer for us. So I thought I'd save myself a little bit of money when it came to fitting this to the roof, because I looked at the fixing kits that you can pick up, and I just thought you can fashion your own out of a bit of right angle and a few nuts and bolts. But I have to say, by the time I'd sort of priced up all these items individually, you have a look on eBay or you have a look on Amazon. It was Amazon that we opted for in the end. And for less than a tenner, you can pick up one of these bad boys here. Now, obviously, this is a solar panel fixing kit, and apparently it's good for anything up to 300 watts of solar on your roof. So, of course, we're rocking in at 270 watts, and it's a smaller size panel, so this should be more than good enough for the job. So there you have it, guys. I mean, it really couldn't be any easier than that, could it? 4 bolts going into 4 brackets, just tighten them up, jobs are good. And Perlight, the company who manufactured the panel, they've even provided us with pre-drilled points for the bolts as well. I mean, you can see there's one there, one there, one there, one there. And the technical sheet for this particular panel, it does say to use the two towards the centre, so that's exactly what I've done. Now, because this panel's a decent lump, I think the best way forward will be to actually connect the extension cables up to the solar panel leads while it's on the ground. I think if I throw the panel on the roof as it currently stands and then try and connect it all up afterwards, I just think it's a recipe for disaster. You know, you're holding one end of the panel up, trying to look underneath which is the positive, which is the negative, and then trying to connect the cables up with the other end. I just think it's not going to go down too well. So yeah, I'm going to connect it up on the ground, throw it up onto the van, and then we can tackle the next stage from there. So with that in mind, you can see the little power unit or whatever it is there, you know, where all the magic happens. You can see there's a positive and a negative clearly marked on there. And the cable's 4mm, and it's got the male and female MC4 connectors pre-crimped to it. So with that in mind, what I've done is I've popped onto eBay and I bought the same cables. So that's 4mm 10-meter long cable with the male and female MC4 connectors pre-crimped, because it wasn't, the thing is, it wasn't much more to buy the cable like this, pre-crimped, and just save yourself a bit of time. So that's exactly what I've done. So what I'm going to do with that 10-meter cable is I'm going to cut it in half, connect the ends to the solar panel, and then we can think about throwing it onto the roof. So I wrapped some electrical tape just around the end of the bare cable just to protect it, and just so I could distinguish which cable was which once I'd pulled them through the roof of the van, I wrapped some red electrical tape around the positive. The male and female MC4 connectors, they're just pretty much plug and play. Okay, so I almost dropped the solar panel. And the funny thing is, Scarlett did say to me to give her a shout when I was ready to put it on the roof so she could give me a hand. So I've positioned the panel on the top of the roof exactly where I want it to sit, and fits snug as a bug. Really pleased with that. Anyway, what I've done now is I've marked out around the brackets with a Sharpie pen, so I know exactly where they sit, so I can move the panel over now, drill out the pilot holes for the screws. Now the screws that come with the kit, they're actually self-drilling, but I don't want to leave anything to chance, so I am going to do some pilot holes, and yeah, that's what I'll crack on with next. So the adhesive that I've decided to use to stick the solar panel on the roof is this stuff here. It's Puraflex 40 or PU40 to its friends, and it's more than up to the task of bonding solar panels to the roof. And the added bonus as well is it's pretty cheap compared to other stuff that you can pick up. I put a thick bead of adhesive on the roof of the van where the brackets would sit. As well as creating a strong bond, I wanted the PU40 to act as a pad to absorb the stresses of being on the road. So whilst I'm waiting for the adhesive to harden and go off on the brackets, I'm going to crack on with making some mini battens. Obviously the screws need something to bite into on the inside of the van. So like I say, I'm going to make some mini battens out of this 34 square wood, and they'll do the job. So you might be asking yourself the question, why is he using screws as well as the adhesive to hold the solar panel to the roof? Now the simple answer to that is it's just, the screws, they're just there as a fail-safe, they're just there as a backup. The adhesive should be more than up to the task of holding the solar panels to the roof, but should they fail, the screws are there just to make sure that the solar panel doesn't go anywhere. I made certain to go around the head of the screws with some sealant just to make sure that no water could get behind them. So of course, nothing's ever quite straightforward as you'd hope, and having clambered onto the roof, I've now realised that the gland is too wide for the ribs. You can see there's a bit of a gap either side. Now my initial thought was just to have it placed over one of the channels and build up the channel using mastic, but my concern is if we're not parked straight and it's absolutely hammering it down with rain, it's going to pull and collect, and sooner or later my concern is it might start leaking, whereas at least if it's sat on a rib it'll run off. So the plan is I'm going to have it on top of a rib, and I'm just going to build up a bead of sealant around the edge just to make it up. With the hole cut, I tidied up the rough edges, and then I went around the bare metal with a bit of paint just to protect against rust. Once dry, a rubber grommet was inserted to protect the cables against any potential rubbing. And I had a change in plans and decided to build up the edges of the ribs using mastic tape. The two cables were fed through the gland and into the roof of the van. And a generous bead of adhesive was applied to where the gland would sit. As a precaution, I also went around the grommet. So I just want to take a very brief moment just to talk you through how it is that I intend to wire this solar panel up. So it's on the roof now and the cables are running inside. So what I want to do is I want to take the 4mm positive cable and I'm going to run that to a 20 amp MPPT solar controller. And I'm thinking of Victron because I quite like the thought of having the app on your phone so you can control everything from there and monitor your batteries. I just like the sound of all that jazz. Anyway, from that solar controller, that positive cable will then feed to a fuse block, and then from that fuse block it will then run to a 100 amp fuse holder, which in turn will then just connect direct to the batteries. And then on the negative side of things, I'm literally going to run that 4mm negative cable to a negative bus, which will just be ground to the chassis. It's as simple as that. So that's the solar panel fitted, and another job that we can chalk off the list. And I hope you'll agree with me when I say I think it turned out alright. I think it looks really nice on that roof. I think 270 watts was definitely the right route to go, bearing in mind the size of the van and the roof lights. I think it nestles nicely between those two. So as far as the exterior of the van goes, I think that's pretty much it now. I think we're done. Oh, there's one thing left to do, and that is I need to fit a MiFi antenna, but beyond that I think that's it, we're done. We can start cracking on with the interior and getting into the nice juicy stuff, and finally start seeing the actual camper van come together. If you enjoyed this video, then please give us a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so and help us grow this little channel. And the only other thing left for me to say, guys, is take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, then please give us a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more and you haven't done so already, then please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit that notification bell down below so you know exactly when we put up a new video. And until next time, guys, take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.